Hello, coconuts. You're tuning into Coconut Didi, and this is your own very special Didi, Coco. How are you all doing today? So, today we're going to have an interesting topic surrounding culture, how it's become quote unquote popular to be cultured, to have a culture. If we look at the rise in Spanish pop, Spanish culture, in mainstream media, and how that's become popular, we have an example right there. So Spanish culture has become very, very big this year, with a lot of well-known pop artists such as Selena Gomez embracing their Spanish heritage and coming out with Spanish albums or Spanish songs. And this should be seen as a win, but there's been a lot of backlash, and I just thought it was very interesting because people see it as, oh, you're doing it to profit off your culture, your heritage, your background now that it's popular. However, people are disregarding exactly how hard and how daunting it is to accept this other part of you when the country you live in is very unaccepting of it. And I think as a whole, we all need to be understanding of and accepting of allowing people to accept their culture and heritage in their own time, whenever they feel comfortable, be that because it is now socially acceptable to a point. I'm not saying completely, society still has a long way to go, but to a point it is now socially acceptable and encouraged to embrace your heritage. However, saying that, I have only really seen it be for Spanish heritage or any European heritages. I haven't really seen it for example, Pakistani, Indian, Bangladeshi, anything along the lines of, you're brown skinned and potentially a Muslim. And we never hear about, accept your culture that way, your heritage that way. And this comes on to a bigger topic of why do we feel the need to discourage people from accepting heritage and culture? Why is there a need? This is because the Western world, they have made this culture and heritage synonymous with being bad. I can't speak for every country, but in England there is a notion of being British and being patriotic, and England nowadays is just getting worse and worse and worse and worse. For being British, you kind of have to prove that you're British and showing that you're part of something other than being British, for example, a culture or a religion or embracing a heritage. They get very, very, very mad. And I'm not saying all British people, but there's a lot of British people, they kind of flip their shit. They are very racist, they're very derogatory, and it can happen anywhere. It can happen in schools, it can happen in public whilst you're out shopping, it can happen in your own business. I know for us, we have a business. Whenever we shop for Eid, every year I guarantee there is always some issue. Whether it's someone being like, oh, I didn't know you were gonna be closed, why are you closed for? Or my personal favourite was a young mother with 2 kids holding onto the pram and a baby in the pram. She walked past, saw the sign on our door that we were closed on a half day. So not only is it like our celebration day, we're Muslims, we celebrate Eid. It was our celebration day, and yet we only took half a day off. We have a full day off for Christmas only because everything is shut on Christmas. That's kind of what happens in England. So for our own celebration, we don't even take the full day off, we take a half day. Anyway, so this woman walks past, she sees the sign, and she loudly exclaims, oh, they can have a day off for their celebrations. How come we can't? We don't get anything. Now let me tell you, honey, I was so mad because nobody is stopping you. If you want to take a day off for Eid, go ahead. You know what the requirement is? Being Muslim. I'm sorry, that's just what it is. No one's stopping you. Take the day off if you want. It's Eid. Enjoy it if you want. None of us give a shit. Because we live in England, we follow the rules of England, you know? You give us Christmas holidays. I'm sorry, but you give that to everyone. It's not my fault that the government isn't giving Eid holidays to everyone. And it's not as if we can fully enjoy Eid anyway, because trying to take the day off for Eid in schools was a nightmare. They would literally send out letters saying, this is the day that we've agreed upon, and this is the only day that kids can take off for Eid, disregarding the fact that the Muslim community always has a disparity of 2 days of when we're gonna celebrate Eid, because trying to track the moon is a tricky ass thing. You try and track anything via the moon and you're gonna be confused, okay? I'm sorry, the moon isn't very clear sometimes. Sometimes people will do it on the first day, some will do it on the second. And you're just gonna say, I'm so sorry, but because of the child's education, we're gonna give you this one day off, and we're not gonna even ask a consensus of the Muslim parents of which day they would personally use so that we can try and fit the majority. No, we're just gonna choose on a random arbitrary day because that's what we do in British schools. Not very great, not very nice, but when it comes to heritage that is of a Muslim disposition or brown, anything that connects you kind of to being a Muslim is very frowned upon, because I'm just gonna say it, everyone literally thinks you're a terrorist. Everybody thinks you're something to be wary about. If I go out and I am wearing my leggings and a dress, oh no, I'm breaking my room. Whew. If I go outside and I am wearing leggings, trainers and a nice fleecy dress, and if I have my scarf as a turban and I have some earrings on, nobody will look twice at me. Now, if I, the same person, no, I haven't changed. If I go out and I am wearing my scarf normally, if I go out again and I'm wearing my scarf normally and I have a jubba on, which is like the long black robes, I get so many looks. People will be wary. Older white people would literally, like, if I'm in the supermarket, I'm going one way, they're coming that way as well. They would literally go out of their way to avoid me. And it is quite upsetting because I'm literally the same person. You know, I could have seen them in the supermarket last week wearing a different outfit and they were fine. But because I look quote unquote, extremely Muslim, they're going to avoid me. And it is very upsetting because, like, what have I done to you? You just look at me and you're like, oh no. I am as weak as anyone can be. I am scared of insects. You could stand in front of me for 10 minutes. We could have a whole-blown conversation. And if at any point you go, boo, I will shit myself. I literally will fall on the ground and cry. There isn't much damage I can do to anyone. I am a scaredy cat. I get anxiety over the smallest of things. I literally am ill 24/7, and you're gonna look at me as if I am about to blow everything to smithereens just because I wear a hijab, or just because I'm brown, or just because I look particularly Muslim that day. Do you not see anything wrong with this? It's upsetting. I don't really know how to kind of get across to you how that feels, to have a selection of society look at you and immediately label you as a criminal just because you wore whatever you wanted to wear. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, okay? I do like to dress up. There are days I'm gonna dress up, but when I can't be bothered, when I've been in my PJs all day and I really don't want to get changed, the easiest thing for me to do, is just to throw on the jubba. Why? Because it's literally like a long ass dress. Nobody knows that I have my PJs under that. Nobody knows that I have penguin print pajamas under there. Do you get what I mean? So I'm gonna wear that. Because it's the easiest option. I'm not doing it to make a symbol of anything or to even let people know I'm Muslim. I don't wear what I wear so other people know I'm Muslim. I wear it for myself. I started wearing a hijab about 1.5 years ago now, and it was for myself. It was for my health. I had gotten that low with my health. I had been bedridden for a year. Doctors weren't helping me, medication wasn't helping me, it was making me worse. I didn't know what was wrong with myself. I was in depression because nothing would help me. And for me, turning to God was a comfort, to know that even though medication couldn't help me, my family couldn't help me, my friends couldn't help me, I couldn't even help myself, it was a comfort to believe that there was some greater power out there that could help me. So for me, I decided, I'm gonna become more religious. If you, God, help me in my time of need, I will become more religious. And for me, I wanted to make sure, it wasn't something I would forget. I wouldn't forget this promise. If I got better, I wanted to kind of know why. My faith gave me that strength. So I put on a hijab. Why? Because it's a visual reminder, and it's a visual reminder for me, not for anyone else. It's a visual reminder for me. So to have other people look at me as if I'm some kind of terrible person, when in actual fact, the reason I put on a hijab is because I was suffering so much. I was kind of healthy, a healthy, young, early 20s woman was bedridden for a year, was scared of the world, was scared to eat food, to drink water, to step out of her room. That is the turmoil I was in. I went through all this suffering and I came out the other end, and simply because I came out wearing a hijab, I'm now a threat? Let that sink in. A Muslim woman, can do whatever the hell she wants, but the minute she looks even remotely Muslim, she is a threat. She is a threat to society. A lot of people I know, they're just living their lives. A lot of Muslim girls I know, they're just living their lives. They don't go and preach to people. They don't look twice at people. They don't judge. They're very accepting. All they want to do is wake up in the morning, dress the way they want to, go about their day, come home and relax. They do not want to be judged, and they don't deserve to be judged, and we sure as hell don't deserve to be labelled as terrorists or something evil or disgusting or something to be wary of. There's nothing to be wary about. If you're a horrible human being and you know that you're a horrible human being, then you can be wary, my love, but you can be wary of yourself rather than being wary of us. During this time where certain cultures and heritage are being accepted, especially by the mainstream media, it will have a knock-on effect on people whose culture and heritage aren't really at that point yet. I know myself that I have become more in tune with my heritage as, having parents from Pakistan. I am now in a position where I kind of feel stupid that I have lived over 20 years of my life and I haven't bothered to learn the language of my parents, because I'm now in a position where I want to speak to my grandma. But I don't know her language. And bless her heart, she's old, she's frail, she's ill. How much longer will she be around for me to learn the language enough for me to let her know that I adore her, that I love her? And I'm very ashamed that it has taken me this long for me to sit down and be like, you know what, I need to learn it. Because for a long time, whenever my parents would bring it up, I would be like, I don't need it. I don't need to know Urdu because I don't use it. And if I could take those words back, I would. I 110% would, because now I need it. Now that I'm in a position where I've realized my goal in life is to help other women like me, other women who are, be it in this country or a different country, where they're facing discrimination because of culture, because of where they live, because of society, for whatever reason. I want to help them, but a lot of them don't have clear English. You know, if I'm helping Pakistani women, a lot of them are going to speak Urdu or Punjabi, and I don't know anything. And it's a lot harder to learn languages when you're older. Trust me. When I was younger, I learned French, and I was amazing at it, and I didn't carry it on because, like, what did I need French for? It wasn't like I was going to visit France anytime soon, because France would probably have me shot on the spot because I wear a hijab. So, there was no hope of me ever going France. When I learned French, it was very quick. I understood everything, and I had semi-okay pronunciation, and I could make sentences. Like, I understood the sentence structure. Now that I'm trying to learn Urdu, my sentence structure, she's all over the place. I keep forgetting the key words of and, the, that, what, how. How do you forget those words? And of all things, and. How can I forget that? I keep forgetting it. So my sentences don't make sense because I don't know the correct grammar. I don't know the sentence structure. So when I speak Urdu now, you can kind of understand. But you kind of have to... You just have to take me for an idiot when I speak Urdu and be like, okay, she's trying to... she's just said banana. She's kind of just said custard. She said something about a cake. I think she's making dessert. That's kind of how people have to figure out with me. And it's weird, because me learning Urdu, I'm being encouraged step by step by everybody in my life who knows how to speak it. Everybody in my life is very, very encouraging. They take their time. They don't ridicule me for my pronunciation, which, when I speak Urdu, my British accent has never sounded more British. You would think, oh, she's speaking English, it would sound British. No, you have not heard me speak Urdu, because the minute I speak Urdu, I sound like as if, I was born in Westminster Abbey. It's the weirdest thing I've ever encountered, but that is just how it is. They don't make fun out of me. They're very encouraging. They will repeat things as many times as I need. Today I might go downstairs and ask my mum, oh, how do I say and in Urdu? And she'll tell me. And I might go back to her half an hour later and say, listen, I forgot, how do I say it again? And she'll tell me, and she won't get annoyed. Why? Because she is happy that I'm learning, that I'm trying. But when we look at the reverse, when people come from different countries and they come to England, and, they're trying to learn They're trying to learn English, and they speak in broken English. They're ridiculed. People will make fun out of them. People will make comments like, oh, you live in this country, you should know how to speak it. There is a whole range of racism and discrimination that comes as soon as you try to get any services. You may need aid for something. There's nothing in place kind of to help you if you have broken English. You kind of just have to go, and it's whatever. Especially in the pandemic now. For example, you have broken English and you go to a doctor's appointment. You might have brought someone along with you who could translate. Nowadays, in the coronavirus pandemic, you have to go on your own. How are you supposed to communicate effectively to a doctor what is happening to you, the pain that you're in. If you don't speak fluent English and they're not allowing you to bring someone along who is a translator. And like I said, it is harder to learn a language when you're older. So if you imagine people are coming for a new life, they've got kids, they're coming over, they're at least 30 plus. Some come like 40, 50s. You expect someone in their 40s and 50s to learn English fluently as soon as they reach England? No, it can take years. It can take years. How long do we, as people who are being brought up with the English language, how long does it take for us to learn it, even as children? And as we go along, we're still learning. I mean, one thing I can say for sure is, growing up in England, I don't really know grammar. If somebody who didn't speak English asked me to teach them to speak English, I wouldn't know how to, because I have grown up with the language all around me, so I just know how to speak. But to then be like, oh, well, this is how you structure a sentence, these are verbs, these are adverbs, these are nouns, I would struggle to tell someone. And that's because English doesn't really follow any rules. It's so stupid. You know, the sounds don't match up to the letters. It's stupid. English is a very hard language to learn. You cannot expect someone to know it 110% completely as soon as they get here, or even in the first year, or second year, or third year. I would say give someone at least 5 years. It's that difficult. It is truly difficult. And we need to be nice. We need to be respectful. We need to be understanding for these people who are trying their best to learn. Because you know, when you as an English person or a British person or whatever you want to say, you are someone who can speak English already pretty much from birth, we don't give people trying to learn it at a different age any sympathy, because we don't understand what it's like to try and learn it. But I can tell you what I do understand. I understand my parents coming home in tears. I understand my parents looking down in shame when someone is talking at them. I understand my mum coming home, sitting down and asking out loud, why can't I do it? I understand my dad sat there looking upset because someone has said something to him about it. Someone heard him speak and laughed at him in his face. I understand my parents being in pain because of someone else's words. I understand the heartache that comes with knowing that someone out there was so mean and cruel to two people in my life who are trying their hardest just to survive, who are already dealing with so many stresses that come with having moved to this country. They are dealing with not having the education to get them high-paying jobs. They're dealing with working 12, 13, 14 hours, not including their travel, just to be paid pennies. They are dealing with not being on the same wavelength as their kids because their kids are speaking super fast English and they don't necessarily follow it all. For them to go through all of that, to have some random laugh at them or ridicule them just because they can't speak English as good as them, or because they said one word wrong or they used a wrong tense. It breaks my heart. It hurts me like no other pain because this is avoidable. This is avoidable if people were just nice and understanding. People are trying their best. People are trying their best every day. It's not easy to learn a language. It's not easy to accept a different culture, a different way of living. So when people try, we all need to be encouraging, because if we don't, we're going to ruin these people's feelings, their hearts, their confidence. And problems won't get solved. Problems will get bigger and deeper, and people will feel more terrible and tormented by the fact that they are literally living these two different lives. They have these two different identities that people want them to be. They want them to be their nationality, and they want them to be their ethnicity, and they're being ridiculed for both. They're being ridiculed for both. So we need to have a bit more understanding. We need to have more kindness. The best thing we can do in this world is to give kindness and to be kindness. To be accepting of kindness. Kindness, kindness, kindness. Just be nice. Just be a decent human being. So when you see someone beginning to accept their culture, to embrace it, to encourage it, their culture, their heritage, whatever, languages as well, be understanding. Be considerate. Don't laugh at them. Don't get aggravated at them. They're trying their best. They can only fit it in so much into their lives. You know, I would love to say everybody could make it a priority in their life, but they can't. Lives nowadays are so busy that people don't even sit down to eat. People are eating on the go. They cannot make this a priority. So when they try and do this, they're putting in immense effort, and they're putting it over other things in their life that could have been quote unquote more useful in the short term, but they're putting in the effort to do this because they feel ready. So don't you dare discourage them in any way, shape or form, because the worst thing you can do to a person is to discourage them in their time of need, to discourage them when they're very vulnerable. Because I will tell you, accepting culture and heritage is a very vulnerable moment, especially when it is seen as something so negative in the land that you live in. So this has been Coconut Didi. I hope you are all well. I hope you're all understanding that we need to be kind to one another. I hope in the next 2 weeks when we come back, you have been nothing but kind and understanding, and that you have done at least one thing to encourage a person in your life to continue or to start with accepting their culture and heritage. And I think if we all did a little bit of that, the world would be a nicer place. Thank you all for tuning in. This has been Coconut Didi. See you in 2 weeks. Bye.